For those who didn't hear initially, my name is Chris Nelson. I'm one of your District 60 Program Quality Directors, and tonight I'm also your Zoom host. Grace Archibald will be our presenter, and I'll ask that if you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in the chat. There will be points where questions are requested, and we'll address those at that stage. But in the meantime, we won't be interrupting unless there's something that really can't wait. During the presentation, I will ask that you please keep yourself muted so that we can avoid any problems or disruptions. And if you're running into challenges, feel free to send me a private message and I'd be glad to do my best to assist you. On to our presenter. I've known Grace for a number of years, and I have to say she's not only one of the most enthusiastic people I have ever known, she is far and above the most enthusiastic Meetup person I have ever met in my life. She loves this medium and truly excels at it. And believe me, if there's anyone who can help you and your club and your division make the most out of Meetup, it's Grace. Allow me to present Grace Archibald, getting members to your club.
Thank you so much, Chris, for that great introduction. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this Meetup workshop. As Chris said, my name is Grace Archibald, and I've been a member with Toastmasters since 2013. I'm not only the member with the Intrepid Toastmasters, but most recently, Kawartha Lakes Toastmasters. Now, as mentioned, I am a great enthusiast of Meetup. And you're probably wondering, what makes me such a great enthusiast? Well, it all started when I joined Toastmasters, and someone suggested that I become the VP of PR for With the Intrepid. Of course, I was like, I don't know. But as many know, when you join Toastmasters, you get voluntold a lot. So I did end up being the VP of Public Relations for With the Intrepid Toastmasters. Knowledge, how many people here are VPs of Public Relations or even VP of Membership? Okay, a few of you there. So yeah, I hope that you're able to gain some great knowledge today. Well, once I took on the role, I wanted to find the best way that we could reach out to people and get noticed. And someone mentioned Meetup. My predecessor said that we already had a group that was up and running, and we got a lot of our members that way. So I thought I'd dive in, take a look, see what it's all about. And in 2017, the current Division E director at the time was looking for someone to start up a Meetup group. And through encouragement of my fellow Toastmasters, I decided to take it on. And it gave me the chance to learn so much more about Meetup. So today, I hope that I could help you guys learn a lot about Meetup, and I hope that it is very helpful in your Meetup endeavors. As you know, during these times, having an online presence is most imperative when advertising Toastmasters clubs or looking for something that you're interested in. Since everybody is at home, all they really have to connect them to the big wide world is either a computer, a tablet, or a cell phone. And this is the prime time for people to know about Toastmasters, because they not only get to learn so much about becoming a leader, but they get to do it in their own home, in the comfort of their own home. So this is a great time. My club, With the Intrepid Toastmasters, has found great success in recruiting new members through Meetup. So how many people here have heard of Meetup before they joined Toastmasters? Okay, I see a couple of hands going up. I personally did not know about Meetup until I joined Toastmasters, so it's a good thing I did. So as Chris, our moderator, said, if there's any questions, send them to her, and if they are important to raise at the time, she will do so. So let's get started. I'm just gonna share my screen here. All right, is everybody able to see that? Yeah, great. All right. So for those who don't know what Meetup is, it is a platform for finding and building local communities, meet new people, learn new things, find support, get out of your comfort zone, and pursue their passion. Now, to me, this sounds very familiar because I feel like we're already talking about Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a supportive place where everybody can go share, learn to do new things, and it is an environment that we could fail in, pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and do it again time and time again. Now, Meetup is a great program. It's available to you on either mobile app or on your computer to utilize. Each have their pros and cons, and in using each of those things, and I will talk about that more later. Here, people from all walks of life come together to find common interests and learn new things. To me, I feel like this program is very versatile. It gives you the opportunity to create events, post pictures, send messages, and so much more. It allows people to join your group, and they're able to RSVP to let you know that they will be attending. So let's get back to the basics of Meetup and how it works. It is, like I said, you could find it on your mobile app, or you could use it on your desktop. Now, when using on your desktop, I would recommend you use the Google Chrome search engine, because I find to use it with others, you seem to either have a large lag time or it doesn't complete an operation that you want it to do. So always, when you're using this program, use Google Chrome search engine for the best results. Now, what does this application do? It allows you to reach new people. It advertises to people in your surrounding community and beyond, reaching people with similar interests. It also has a simple hosting tool. It allows you to manage IDs and make updates on your events in the palm of your hand or on your desktop. And like I said, I will mention the pros and cons of doing it on either of these things. And then we have continuous growth. With continuous growth, it constantly promotes your group to Meetup networks so that your group continues to grow. Now, you're probably thinking, how does it do that? When you create a group, you're asked to select different topics that relates to your club. They feature your group on a topics page where members can search for groups, suggest groups, and so much more. And I'll talk a little bit more about the topics a little bit later. So for example, if you use the Explore button and you search Toastmasters, it gives you an endless amount of options within your area, as you can see in the picture here. Now, how does the application work? You are in this platform, it gives you either an organization or a particular group to create a subject, to create events, to create a group and post events. Now, how do people engage this application? By creating a free profile. So when you join Meetup, it gives you the option to create a Meetup profile account. And with this, you are able to select different interests that you might be interested in. And when you create an account, you can browse anything and you can get alerts on those particular interests. And I actually have a detailed handout, which is an example here on the side here on how you could create your own account, and it actually goes in detail. And I actually have that in a Google Docs file that will be available to you later. So I encourage everyone here, if you do not have a Meetup profile account already, create one. Now you're probably thinking, why would this be a good idea? I know for many of the groups that have been created in the district, they have the option where you can submit your events and they will post it for you. But, so you're probably thinking, why would I need my own profile? Well, you need your own profile, so it gives you the opportunity to comment on your own events. So you not only get the chance to see your event posted and keep an eye on it, opportunity that you can actually make comments on your event. So for example, say that you have a special speaker coming up, or you wanted to post your theme, or just let people know, please come and join our meeting. You could do that in the comments. And maybe you could actually end up engaging with some possible guests at the same time. So that is a great opportunity. So I seriously suggest create a profile today. Now, what is in a Meetup group membership? A Meetup group membership provides you with the ability to create. So if you are ever to create a Meetup group, you have 3 different group options. To tell you the truth, when it was possible, until I assisted in creating the group for Division E. So I think it is great value for money to be able to create 3 different groups. Now, District C has 4 accounts to support the different divisions within the district. And I think this is great because since we have so many different divisions, especially in Toronto, that are located so close to each other, it gives them the opportunity to show themselves off and have greater exposure. So it is really great that each of the divisions has their own group. Also, it provides you with an About You section and gives you the ability to have endless number of events. Also, along with this, in each group, you have the ability to create a leadership team. Now, you're probably thinking, what would be good about that? It gives you the opportunity to give some autonomy to different members of the group. So for instance, in this leadership group, you could have a co-organizer. So you not only have an organizer of the group, which in general will be the division directors, you could add, say, a co-organizer. So for example, you could have the VP of PRs of the different clubs or anybody that club appoints to manage the events take on the role of a co-organizer where they're able to create the events and monitor them and look after them. But when you do have this option, you do have to remember as a co-organizer, you're able to see everybody else's events and make changes to everybody else's events. So when you do this, make sure you have guidelines in place, rules, so that other people are not affected by anything that you yourself do in your own event. Now, let's take a closer look at the group settings when you set up a group of accounts. So in the group settings, it offers you 7 different things. And within these things, it has a lot of different options. In the basic About You section, it gives you a basic description. It involves the name of your group, where you're located, your website, your group logo, and your cover photo. In your members, it provides you with new members approval, so you can decide if someone joins your group, do they have to be approved first, or if they just joined. It also it shows when members joined, it provides profile questions, and it even gives you a welcome message. There's the topic section, which I find is one of the most important sections. This is where you get to pick the topics that represent the group as a whole. You have the chance to pick up to 15 different topics. And when you do look at the options that you have, pay special attention to what you pick, because it could impact who sees your group. We also have member roles. As I mentioned, you could give roles to different people in the group. For instance, I already mentioned the organizer, you have the co-organizer, you have the assistant organizer, and you have the event organizer. And I will get a little bit more into that later. We also have manage your venues. So every single time when you create an event and you allocate a location, it keeps a history of that. So in the future, if you keep on using the same event location, you could actually just select it from the list of all your previous locations. And then we have content visibility, which is basically, do you want this to be public or private? And as we all know, we want it to be public. Then you have the optional features. This has communication, currency, and also the follow us section. I think the follow us section is very important because it gives you the option to add your other social media links. So if you say have a Facebook page, a main website, an Instagram, or anything like that, you could add it there and it will show on your main page. So you could actually click on those links to go to your other social media, which would be good for people to see. And then we have our members roles. So this comes back to the leadership team. With this, like I said, it's a great opportunity for members of clubs to have different roles. Now, as I mentioned before, a majority of the different divisions are accepting event write-ups that you submit and then they post for you. But I want to make everybody aware of this option, especially the organizers of the group, because having that option, as I said, gives autonomy back to the clubs to post their events with Meetup member roles. You have the ability to assign roles to members of the group so they can post their own events. This is one reason why I feel that it is important that you have a Meetup profile account and join the group. It gives you the option to take on a role, and if that is what divisions do in the future, it is great to have you already set up. I think this is a great option because it puts the onus off of the division directors and puts it back in the hands of the club and their responsibility. If you do go this way, as I mentioned, make sure you set guidelines, because if you are, say, a co-organizer, you will receive notifications about anything that goes on in the group. For instance, if someone else set up an event or anything like that. And in general, I would just ignore them and just focus on your own events that you're putting through. But it does, as a co-organizer, you'll receive notifications if new people join the group. And that is a great opportunity for you to send them a message. So if you do have the option, I encourage you to do that. And as I said, it takes the weight off the division directors or organizers, and it puts the responsibility back in the hands of the club. And who knows, they could totally run with it and get some more gas. And another thing that you get with the membership is the ability to personalize your group with pictures. Now, this is your opportunity to show how your club is unique. And with every event, you have the option to post pictures before and after the event. And it gives you the ability for the members in your group to RSVP to every event. You can see here in this picture, for example, it shows 3 of my Whitby Intrepid members RSVPing to an event. You could communicate with your members and event attendees through the comments, through the discussion groups, and by clicking on their profile. And I would say if you start conversations with different members, it keeps them engaged and it makes them more likely to keep on coming back for more and maybe attend one of your events. If you have a big event, mention it in the comments. Send out a group message. One way you can send out a group message is by clicking on the Manage Group option and then Contact Members. Now, this would probably only be visible to people who are on the leadership team. So if you do have a message to send out, I would contact either the organizer or any co-organizers if they do have it, and see if they could help you out in setting up a group message to send out to all the members. So for example, in the example that I have here, there's 204 members in this group. And how great would it be if you could send out a message to all of them at once and let them know if you have a big event coming up, such as an in-house or a special guest or something like that. So it is a great option to have. So now that we've given a basic overview of what Meetup has to offer, let's a little bit deeper on some of the items that were mentioned. First of them being the importance of the written word. Who do you want to attract to your club? Meetup gives you the opportunity to tell people what your group is about. So organizers of the club, make sure what you post is in the right people. The words that you use in your posts are very important. Who do you want to attract to your group? Knowing what kind of clubs you already have existing in your group is an important thing to know, because it could give you an idea of how you could write that about you section for the clubs that are involved. Are they fun clubs? Are they professional clubs? What kind of clubs are they? And even for the people that are constructing the event post, what kind of club are you? What makes you special? What makes you stand out? This is your time to shine. So make sure people know what you're about. There are so many types of people out there to attract. There are students, there are professionals, there are housewives even, stay-at-home moms. There are people that are trying to maybe start up a second career. All of these people are looking for a way to improve themselves. And as we know, Toastmasters is a place to do it. So we have to make sure that we are visible to everybody. So if you are creating a group and you're creating that what we are about section, make sure you find something that grabs people. So make sure you use the right words. As we all know, Toastmasters is a fun and supportive place, and it is a leadership incubator. So we got to make sure that everybody knows about that. Now, this brings me to something that we touched upon earlier, which is that of the topics. As I said, you have the opportunity to pick 15 different topics when you are creating a group. Make sure you pick the right thing. When you do this, it's like you really have to think of sort of the same kind of questions when you have the what we are about section. So you have to ask, what is the purpose of this group and what are we trying to do? So as you can see here, I have options from the group that we have for with the Intrepid Toastmasters. As you can see, Toastmasters is #1, and I feel that's one of the most important things that you should have in it. So if anybody ever searches Toastmasters, you are one of the first things that come up. And then of course we have leadership, communication, public speaking, basically all the touch points of Toastmasters that usually people want to look at. So remember, when you are choosing your 15 topics, make sure you choose the right ones. It basically even says here, the screen capture that I have here, why is your topic important? Pick the right subject. So just want to put that out there. And the thing is, if you find the topics that you picked initially, you're not getting a lot of traction, go back and hit up. You never know, you might get more people with different options. So it is always there. You can change it at any time. You're never restricted to any set of 15. As I mentioned before, pictures are so important. Now, why are pictures important? It's a great way to catch someone's attention. By doing so, it allows people to make a connection or easily identify with the club. And it gives them an idea on what to expect. And it actually makes them feel more comfortable. As you see here, we have one of our event posts. When an event is created, you actually, on the computer version only, have the option to add a picture. And as you can see, I added a collage of some of the different members and the activities that we do. So when you're actually submitting your right to your division director, always remember to include a picture. because it's a way that you can show how unique your club is. A great example at my club that I remember was when we had a few guests come to visit. They had seen us on Meetup and they saw the pictures we posted and they thought that we were actually a fun group and they wanted to see if it was someplace where they could fit in. They even looked at our newsletter by clicking on one of our social media links that we had on the page, as I mentioned, that you could do in the group settings. By the time they came to our meeting, they already knew who most of us were. They said they actually took the chance to come to our group, and because when they looked at a lot of different groups, they didn't see much activity, so they didn't know if they were really active. So it is so important when you have these kind of groups, not just for Meetup, but for any social media thing, to always make sure it looks active, that people are engaging and that you're posting pictures. Now, you're probably wondering, because we're online, do we really have that many options to take pictures? I say you do. There are so many options. You could take a screenshot of your entire group. You could make up a screenshot acknowledging a special achievement of one of your members. And if you vote for your table topics, you can always create a picture collage of who won table topics. So as you can see, I have all of these examples here. So I encourage you guys to take a chance. There are so many different apps out there where you can create different pictures like you see here. For me, I use a collage app and it's worked pretty well. There are so many different options. You can use any one, or you can even use, say, Microsoft Word and just take a screenshot and crop it, and you could use that as well. There are so many different options that you could set up pictures and show what makes your club unique, even on the virtual realm. So there's so many different options. But one thing I have to say, when you are taking pictures, make sure you get permission from everybody on screen, because if someone does not want to be shown, just ask them to either take off their video or they can log out early, whatever they choose to do, because it's always important to get their permission. And one way you can get their permission is verbal permission. If they are guests, you could just ask them at the time, is it okay if we take your picture and it will be shown on social media? And for your club, you can actually use a photo release form. On Toastmasters International, in the resource section, they actually have a permission form. And I have also included that in the Google Docs file that you will be receiving later. So there's always options. Now, let's get back to the chat option, the messaging option in Meetup. It gives you the opportunity to speak to the people that join the Meetup group and an opportunity to start discussion. As I mentioned, in each event, they do have a comment section. And if you have your own Meetup profile account, you can go into the comment section and say something about the upcoming meeting and hopefully engage potential guests. Organizers of the group, co-organizers, are able to send out the group messages, as I mentioned before, and I showed you what you can click on to get that done. Now, when someone RSVPs to your event, you can click on their profile picture and then click on the talking bubble, on the talk bubble that's there, and you can send them a private message. Like for instance, if someone RSVPs to your meeting, you could send them the link to the Zoom link to your meeting in a private message. Now, Libby Intrepid has used Meetup as long as I can remember, and it has been a great source of guests over the years. One of our most recent members found us on Meetup the first day they became a member. They sent me a message 10 minutes before our meeting, and I was able to send them the Zoom link right away. And within 2 meetings, they became a member of our group. So it is a great way that you can get instant results at times, as long as you make sure you keep on checking and stay connected to your notifications. So as you can see here earlier, I showed you that people RSVP'd to the event. In this case, it was self, Daniel Doverstein, and Diane Payton Sutherland. And as you can see, when you click on their profile picture, you can actually see their profile. And in Meetup, one thing that you can do, if you have a number of your club members join the Meetup group as a member, they could actually personalize it and show who they are. Like for instance, Daniel, he is a co-organizer and he's also the VP of Public Relations for our club. Diane, the president and the VP of membership. So it gives you the chance to personalize it even more. So if a member joins and they're thinking, I want to learn a little bit more, they can maybe send you a message as well. So when you click on their profile and then you click on the message bubble, to the left, you see here that you could send them a private message. So I clicked on Diane. So I could send Diane a private message if I wanted to. So it is a great option for communication and to start discussions. Now, as we know, at times Meetup can give us instant results. At times it can't. So there's a lot of troubleshooting with Meetup. It is perfect, but when you think about it, what thing is? So as long as we're able to navigate these imperfections, we can find a way to accomplish what we want to do. Okay, here we go. So as I mentioned before, there is a computer version and there's a mobile app version. But with two, they are able to do different things. For instance, when it comes to the computer, it allows you to post pictures with an event. If you set up your event on a mobile app, it does not give you that option. And as I mentioned, it is best to use it on Google Chrome. If you're doing it on your computer, it gives you the best results and it doesn't have any lag time and it will complete the tasks that you want it to do. Also, on a computer, you can format your write-ups. So for instance, if you have multiple paragraphs, you're able to have it done properly on the computer version. But if you're doing it on your app, it will actually present it as a run-on paragraph. Even if you put spaces in it, when it actually posts it as one long write-up, no spaces in between. So whenever you are posting an event, always make sure you do it on the computer version. Excuse me. And one big thing about these two is the different search algorithms. I must say, one thing that has been a struggle with Meetup is their search options. Because for instance, if you search a particular thing on the computer, it might not show up for you. And it gives you a lot of different options. When I was setting up this workshop, I tried to find all of the different Meetup groups set up by the different division directors. Unfortunately, I had a lot of trouble finding them when I searched the computer option. But when I went onto the mobile app, it provided me with almost all of them. And it was shocking because I used the same search terms that I did on the computer, and the computer option did not give me anything. But when I went on the app, it provided me with, I believe, at least 6 of the different options. And I'm sure there are some division directors out there who know what I'm talking about, because I would send them messages asking if they could send me a screenshot, because no matter what I did, I was not able to find their groups. It doesn't mean that they have done anything wrong by any means. I believe it's just the search algorithm that they have set up for the different versions that cause a bit of a problem. So if someone has an issue with finding your group, maybe ask them, are they using the computer version or are they using the mobile app version? Another issue that arose was that of a lack of use. Now, I received feedback from previous people, division directors who have used Meetup, and they said that some clubs already have the Meetup group, or like I said, they can't find the event, or clubs don't even know that division-funded Meetup groups exist, and there's no follow-through. Now, for some of these things, we could certainly conquer those issues. For those who already have their own Meetup group, I would still encourage those clubs to join the District 60 funded ones. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what is the point? And the thing is, it actually gives you a lot more exposure. Because like I mentioned with the search algorithms, sometimes people can't find the group. But if you have your group one and also post on the division ones that have been made up, it gives the opportunity for more exposure. And who knows, they might find the events that you posted in the division groups, and they might not find your original group. So it gives you the options. I know with the Whippy Intrepid one, we have our own group, and we also post on the one for Division E. And we people every time. If they find that one, we never see pop up on the other one. So it could just be when they searched, the one from Division E showed up and ours did not. So it does give you greater exposure and a greater chance to get more guests coming to your club. So I encourage, if they already have one, encourage them to also post events on that one as well. And like I said, with the algorithms, might not find you. So always make sure people know, try searching both ways, computer and the mobile app. And for the last two, I think we are addressing it right now. We are letting you know about Meetup. We're having workshops to let you know about Meetup. And I'm sure with all the division directors out there and maybe some area directors out there, you will spread the word. Let people know that this exists. Let them know that it's free. Let them know that they can advertise with District 60, with their district funded Meetup groups. Now, you're probably thinking, how can our clubs get Meetup? As I mentioned, it is free. So anybody in District 60 who has a club can be able to access it. Now, how can you access it? I'm sure you guys have a hint because I've been mentioning it all the time. You can connect with your division directors and they'll be able to provide you with the information you need to know to get access to the Meetup groups. Now, I know a number of the division directors are present here today, and I'm so excited that you are, and I hope that you're learning a lot in this workshop today. And so what I'll be doing, I'll be going through all the different division groups that we have available. And if any division directors out there would like to say anything about their group in particular, please send a message to Chris Nelson, our moderator, and she'll be able to assist you. All right, so let's take a look at Division A. With their group, once an email from either the VP of PR or the president is received by the organizer, being the division director, they'll be able to add you to the group. And at the moment, only the director can post the events, but they're hoping to change that in the future to allow access for either the PR to add events or whoever the club appoints. I'm not sure if the division director is out there. Would you like to say?
Omar is here. Omar, if you want to say anything, feel free to unmute yourself.
Sure, no questions this time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We then have the Division B Meetup group. And for this, you must submit a form and the division director posts the information. And if anybody's wondering what form it is, also in the Google Docs file that I do have examples of those forms, and they are basically all the same. It's just that the different division names can be changed for you to submit. I'm wondering if the Division B director is out there?
I don't see Richard in the list.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. All right, then we have Division C Meetup group. It's available to all the Area C directors. It allows for up to 1 year of meetings to be posted, and clubs have access to their posts, for example, by the VP of PR. Do we have the Division C director available? Present, sorry.
I don't see Menard in the group, but we might have
Okay.
some of the Division C area directors.
Okay, is there anyone out there from, any area directors out there from Division C?
I'm here, Grace, Bruce Lang from Area 23, but the reason I'm attending this workshop is because I knew nothing about Meetup. I'm learning.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you've learned a lot so far. So
I have,
thank you for
trust me.
attending.
I'm writing a lot down.
Okay, great, great. All right, then we have Division D. For this one as well as submit a form. You're allowed to post up to 6 meetings at a time. And when they are actually setting it up, the VP of PR will receive the first post, I guess, just so you're able to check it out and see if it is to your liking. Do we have the Division D director out there?
I don't see Mohan on the call, but we might have some of the Division D area directors.
Is there any of the area directors that would like to say anything? No?
Looks like we're good.
Okay, great, thank you. And we also have Division E Meetup group. Now it's set up a little bit differently. It has 3 different geographical groups. It has Build Your Confidence with Toastmasters, Pickering to Oshawa, Bowmanville to Belleville, Peterborough to Lindsay. And if you'd like to be a part of this, you can contact the Division E director, Jennifer McGee, or myself, who is the Division E PR manager, for more details. And we actually set up the VPRs or who the club appoints as a co-organizer so they could set up their own events. And actually in the Google of a complete listing of a complete file on that as well. So in that, it not only has how you can create your own profile account, but also how to become a co-organizer for Division E. And it also has how you can create events and how you can post pictures as well. So that's all in the Google Docs as well. Then we have Division F. For this, you must also submit a form and you're allowed unlimited number of events before the scheduled date. And I'm sorry, I forgot to ask if Division E person is available if they'd like to say something. My apologies.
It's okay.
Thank you,
Jennifer
Division E
is not
out there.
on the call, but I think I've seen a couple
Okay.
of the Division E area directors in case there's any comment there.
Okay, is any of the Division E area directors like to make a comment?
Looks like they're
No?
just busy listening.
Okay, and now Division F, is there anybody, is the Division F director available and if they'd like to say anything?
I don't see Renee on the call. Some of the area directors may be
Okay.
present.
All right, is there anyone out there that would like to say anything? Any of the area directors for F?
Looks like not. Go ahead.
No? Okay, and then we have Division G. With this, you also have to fill out a form. You have the ability to post 6 meetings at a time. And at the moment, it's not up and running, but they hope to do so very soon. So it's a work in progress. Do you have the Division G director out there?
I believe Arthur's on the call, or he was earlier. Arthur, did you want to say anything?
That's a good wording. We will be up and running. We have myself and Rubin here, and I think and anyone else in G, we're gonna try to get this up and going.
Okay, that's great to hear. I hope this has been very informative for you. All right, and then we have H. With this, you also have to submit a form as well. You can submit unlimited events as long as it's before the date. Is there anybody in H, is a division director or area directors here from H?
I believe Carrie's on the call.
Yes, I'm Carrie. Hi, I'm the division director of H. So great, a lot of great information. We haven't really used it as much as we We should and we could. So I'm going to try to maybe get the message out a little better. And I know for my home club, it is the #1 way we get guests. So I know it works. I know it works
Yes.
for years. So you just gotta, I think I'm going to have to do a little more promotion, and there's huge benefits, huge benefits.
Yes. Yes, there is. Thank you so much. All right. And we have Division I. In the past, they have appointed club members to be assistant organizers, and access is updated annually, and it's also a little bit of a work in progress. Do we have the division director or any of the area directors from I?
I believe Joe's here.
Hi, Grace. As you saw in my emails, we've used, I mean, there was very little interest in the division. When I sent an email out to the area directors, they passed it into the clubs, and there was little I heard back. However, there was one club, Babler Speakers, which was my home club. We did use it for the open house, and we ended up getting one guest, and that was it. So I wanted to learn how. I think we might be doing something wrong, because I keep hearing how great this is and this and that. Now, Samson is also on the line there, who's our VPPR. I don't know, Samson, if you wanted to add any comments?
Yeah, so as per Joe said, we did try to use the Meetup. I think before the workshop, I wasn't able to fully utilize it. So I'm not quite sure how we were using it before. So I think maybe after this workshop, maybe we'll give it a shot again. But yeah,
Okay.
for now, with what Joe said, before the open house, we only get like a few guests on the Meetup. So I think it's I don't know if it's effective or not. Maybe it's because of the pandemic or whatever, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, actually, you bring up a really great point there, because the thing with Meetup too, and this is one of the troubleshooting things with it, sometimes we could be hit and miss, because you can have a number of people RSVP, but then they don't actually show up. But what we found, even if they RSVP and don't show up, we send them a message. We usually say, sorry, you couldn't make it to this meeting. We hope you can make it to the next one. And sometimes that starts a conversation. And so in the beginning, sometimes maybe it doesn't work, but if you keep at it, it could really increase. Because I know I've used it at one club that I was helping, where I helped them set up events. And at first, they may have gotten 1 or 2 people, but then one night, because we had a meeting and they're like, if this doesn't show results, I think we're not going to continue. And luckily enough, that same night, we had 5 people show up for Meetup. So sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes it's something you have to keep on trying, but for most people, it has eventually worked.
I do have one question, however.
Yeah.
Division E, I love the way that was set up. How is that even done?
Okay, well, I'm the one that set that one up. So what happened was the Division E director at the time, Gilles Robert, he reached out saying that he wanted to start it up for our group. So he actually used some of the funding that Division E gets to set up that group. And as I mentioned, when you set up a group, you could set up 3 different groups with the membership. So because Division E was such a big, expansive space, because with Division E, it goes, I believe, all the way from Scarborough to all the way to Belleville. So you have all that expanse. So he thought it would be best if we had 3 different groups and separate it into the geographical areas. Because, for instance, if we just had one group and had it from Scarborough to Belleville, I don't think it would have been very effective for anybody, because when you set it, it still uses a middle point. So for instance, I think the middle point probably would have been, just guessing here, maybe Coburg. So if people searched it, it would always show up through Coburg's, but it wouldn't show up maybe through anything else. So when he decided to take it on, he thought it was best that we have our, that they use the funds from their own division to set up the 3 groups because of the big expanse of the geographical area. So everything I said here is a way to set up one group, but if your division decided to use funds to put towards buying its own individual group, you have the option to set up 3. I hope that's a little bit helpful for you there. Okay, all right. Now with all of these groups, if not otherwise indicated for all of them, the Toastmasters group, Toastmaster clubs can join the Meetup group at any time. They can post as many events as they want. They can post them non-consecutively or consecutively, and they allow for pictures to be submitted as well. Now that we, sorry, got to take a drink of water here, my apologies. Now that we have found out a little bit of information about Meetup, I'm hoping that the division directors, area directors, and clubs are able to benefit more greatly from this app, and we are able to get more guests and turn guests into members. Now I am proposing a call to action. I challenge you to set up your own personal Meetup account, file account, join a group, encourage your Toastmaster Club members to do the same, start discussion, add comments, create activity, engage people in the group, and start some really good discussions. This is an excellent opportunity for networking. As more clubs join and other Toastmasters see what's available around them, who knows what is possible. It can mean future collaborations between clubs. It could mean Toastmasters seeing what other clubs are available. Because as you all know, you can never just join one. It becomes a thing where you join many. The possibilities can be endless, so I encourage you all to go out and engage. So once again, I'd like to thank you for attending this workshop. I hope it was very informative for you. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you're able to go out there and use it more. And now I leave it open for questions. And if anybody has any further questions, please email me. I'm happy to help because I want to see everybody prosper with this. So if you have any questions, let me know. And now I open it up to questions. So if you have any questions, please send it to our moderator, Chris.
Thank you very much, Grace. Wasn't that terrific? I don't know about you, but every time Grace talks about Meetup, I feel like I've got an encyclopedia on it happening in my head. We do have one question to start off, Grace, that was posted in chat a little bit earlier. This is from a member whose club has a Meetup profile, but when she comments with a prospective guest, it doesn't allow her to send or receive email addresses. Is there a workaround for that?
Really? Because usually when you send a private message to a given person and they receive it in their email, you could actually talk back and forth through the email, I find. So I don't know if that's an option. Do we know who? Well, you must know.
It's
I do know
me.
who yeah.
So Grace, I was commenting back and forth with them, and I was trying to get their email address to kind of add them onto Free Toast Host into our guest prospect email list. And every time I would try to send an email, it would blank everything out except the .com at the end or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? This is actually the first time I'm hearing. So actually, I'll look into that further and maybe get back to you on that, because honestly, that's the first time I've heard about it. All right, so I'll look further into that for you, okay?
Thanks, Grace.
You're welcome, Cynthia.
We do have another question. How long is Meetup being used by Toastmasters? I think to clarify, are you asking then how long has Meetup been used by Toastmasters District 60?
District 60 or Toastmasters head office, whatever.
We can't
Well,
really
I know
comment on
for
what
many
International has done.
Yeah, because what I could comment on, what I know is a lot of clubs have used it for many years in the past. Like for instance, when I joined Toastmasters with the Intrepid, they already had their own individual groups set up. So some clubs might have set it up as a PR thing for themselves, use, because I know if you get your own meetup group for your club, at times it can be very expensive. An example, they charge you every 6 months, and it is an American funds. And the translation for Canadians usually end up to be around $120, depending on the exchange rate. So in a year, you're spending around $240 for an individual club to have it. So I was so excited when I heard District 60 decided to do it. Now, personally, I have only heard of it starting up in the last couple of years. I don't know if Wendy Williams can tell us if it's been longer, but as far as I know, it's been the last couple of years that the district has funded it. So
Thanks,
it is a
Grace.
great
Yeah,
resource to have.
it's been 2 years that District 60 has provided 3 accounts, of which it can be shared, but Division E had it a year before that. So we're still testing it.
Yes, but as I said, we have found it to be a great resource. I know some people are wondering, great resource in the pandemic. I can totally say it is, because I know at the end of the last year in June, when of course it's crunch time and everyone's trying to get their numbers up, we were able to get over 6 members in a 1 month span from Meetup. So people are out there, they are looking to find us. We just have to make sure we're visible for them to see us, and hopefully they will find your club and join. So it is a really great resource.
You know, the only thing I want to mention that wasn't mentioned tonight is that Meetup, one of the conditions of having a Meetup account is that it's open to the public. So if you have a closed corporate club that is not open to the public, they are the clubs that can't use it. And as to the Meetup conditions, that's all. But everybody else can.
Thank you so much Thank you so much for pointing that out. I didn't know that was the thing. So thank you for letting us know about that.
I don't see any other questions in chat, Grace, but I'm not sure if there's anyone who's got questions who'd like to voice those directly. Oh, here's another one. We have a question about understanding collage apps for photos. And
I'm sorry,
also,
could you repeat that, Kurt?
We've got a question about using collage apps for photos, as you mentioned you did for Whitby. There's also a question about posting extracurricular events within the club from the same questioner.
Okay, so yes, if you do have, like for instance, we use our Meetup a lot for extracurricular activities, like when we could meet in person. We posted events for social nights. So if we had a movie night coming up, or we had our charter party or anything like that, we would also post it on Meetup as well. In the past, for the Division E group, we have posted when workshops have come back to get the word out. So you could use it for extracurricular things that are club-based that you would like the public to come to. It is a great avenue to do that, because if you show people that you are social, they might actually come out. Like I remember one time we posted and someone was afraid to actually come to an actual meeting, but they thought the best way to maybe open themselves up to it was to come to a social night. And they were able to come to we had a dinner and movie social night, and they were able to come out, and they said they had lots of fun. And we've had guests come to our charter parties and then come to our actual meetings after. Because when you think about it, if you see people in a social atmosphere, sometimes they let their guard down, and maybe they might feel more comfortable that way than if they come to a structured meeting. So it is a great avenue. If you're just having a social event, also post it on your Meetup group as well. And when it comes to the collage app, let me just get the exact name for what we use. One moment. Well, I use the Live Collage app.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
For those who For those who don't know Grace, she's the queen of photos. If you've ever been around her, there is always a camera in her hand. It definitely helps in promotion to have somebody like Grace on hand.
Yes, in person, I'm a bit of a dangerous person when it comes to photos. But yes, I use that app. I don't know if it's okay with you, Chris, if I could show you our meetup and show you the type of pictures that we usually post, if that
Go
is
ahead.
okay.
Of course.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah,
just
go
give me
ahead.
1 minute to pull that up.
And then we do have 2 more questions when you're ready for them, Grace.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's share. Okay, so here we have the Whitby Intrepid Toastmasters page, and our current VP of PR, he actually posted our Christmas meeting picture. So he used a collage app type app to create that, and it shows everybody who attended that meeting. Now I'm just gonna go back to other posts that have been done. So for instance, I'll just show you.
Grace, if you can zoom in on the screen a little bit, that might make it easier to see. Our view of the screen is quite small.
Okay. Okay. Just 1 moment.
Perfect.
Is this better for everybody?
I think that's much better. Thank you.
So, okay. Oh, actually, I have to go back further. My apologies. I picked the wrong post there. Because I just want to show you an example of how you could use different apps to show off the different things that happen in your club. So we started off with just showing who attended the meeting in one group picture. And you could also show the different roles that people took on. So it gives you the opportunity, if you use some kind of collage app, to show what people have done and what different roles people took on, general evaluator, things like that, and the table topics winners. That night we had some table topics winners. So it gives you a chance to showcase them. So it does give you different opportunities to post pictures, and you could post pictures from social nights or anything like that. And as I said, you could post the different social media links that you have available to you. I'll just go back to the main area. So see, we could share we share our Facebook, our Twitter, and Instagram that we have here. So you could make different connections. So even if people find you through Meetup, they could look at different sites that you have available. So that's just an example. So we could, I hope that answered some of the questions that were out there. If
Thank you, Grace.
there are any other questions?
We've got a couple more. This one asks, do you see the number of members in a group making a difference in terms of the guest turnout rate? For example, how do you explain that the District 60 division account has 50 members while some individual Toastmaster clubs have their own accounts with thousands?
Okay. That, I'm not sure. It could just, once again, it might come back to the algorithm. Maybe people are able to see them as well. Maybe you might want to change up the topics that you choose for your group. there could be many reasons why that doesn't happen, because I know, especially for more of the areas that are spaced out, like for instance, the Peterborough to Lindsay group, it doesn't have as many members as, say, the Oshawa to Pickering group. It could just be a sense of population that is so spread out. I am not sure why there are some areas have better responses than others. To be honest, like for our Rugby Intrepid group, we have over 300 members, but not necessarily all 300 members are engaging with us. So we may have maybe like 50 of those people engaging with us. It could all be a matter of when they joined. It could be down to the straight fact is, I just want to make it look like I'm a part of a lot of groups. So you don't really know what their intentions are. All I could suggest is that you try and engage with them, because what we do every now and then, we send out a group message to all the people when we have something special coming up and see who engaged. Sometimes you just got to throw it out there and see who comes and checks it out. So it's just a matter of keep on trying. I know with one person, I had them on Meetup, and it's like they just come and talk every now and then, and literally we ended up talking for 2 years, but in the end they ended up joining us because it was just a matter of they were trying to find the time and everything like that. So sometimes it could be the long game, sometimes it could be the short game, but if you keep on trying, things can happen.
Thank you, Grace. How would you suggest that clubs increase their followers on Meetup? Do you have suggestions as to how they can work to increase those numbers so more people are seeing their events and their meetings?
Like I said, I would first start with the topics that you have selected for your group and change it up and see if that might attract more people. I would also suggest making sure with every event you're posting pictures, because like I said, with some people, they checked out a lot of different Meetup groups, but they ended up being drawn to the ones that were more active. So they saw weekly posts and things like that. So make sure that you are able to always post something, even if it's just a comment saying, we had a great meeting today, we did this, or anything like that. So just try to ensure you're always engaging your audience. I think that can, because like for our group, our VP of PR is always posting pictures. And sometimes some of the guests that come to our meeting, after the meeting, they post, oh, I had a great time. Because with Meetup, it actually sends the members that RSVP to an event, they ask you, how did you like the meeting? So it gives them the option to respond to that. And that's sometimes how people comment. And if other people see in past events, it's like, oh, those people had a good time, maybe I should try that one.
Thank you, Grace. Next question. Are there any advanced clubs that have gotten a lot of guests from Meetup? Or do you have specific ideas for advanced clubs to attract guests on Meetup?
Now with advanced clubs, they have certain parameters for you to join, usually being in the old program, you had to have your CC already. I'm not sure what it might be for the advanced club, but I would encourage them to set up a group on, set up events in their designated division, because advanced Toastmasters are usually from other clubs. If they want to join an advanced club, if you would advertise your advanced club in the Meetup group and other Toastmasters are a member of the Meetup group, they're more likely to say, oh, I club, because that's one thing that you could benefit from having all the clubs post in the group. If you encourage your Toastmaster members to join as well, they could see what's available in their area. They could see how many clubs are there. And if there's a club, maybe they're more likely to comment themselves or maybe reach out to that particular event and see what their group is about. Because I think if we have a number of clubs all in one group and people see what's available in their area, like I said, people join more than one group, and it might give them the opportunity to see that there are advanced groups available, and they might reach out to them and see what it's all about.
Thank you, Grace. We've got a couple of questions here about topics. The first is, how do I access the topics? And the next is within the topics, what is stated in each topic? Are you just adding your own word or are these pre-generated? Now, I think that's clarifying what the topics are. Do you describe the topics or are they pre-designated options that you select from? And so how to access and where
Okay.
does the wording come from?
Okay, I can actually show you a demo, but just to give you a little bit of an overview, when they give you the option to enter keywords and then they provide a list in those keywords from the keyword that you entered in, and you could select options that they have available. So, and I can show you how to access it. Just give me one moment and I'll share my screen.
Excellent.
Okay, so we have the Whippy Intrepid group. So
Grace, you're breaking
group
up there.
settings. Oh, sorry. So you go to manage your group and you go to the group settings as I showed in my presentation, and you click on topics. So this would be something that the organizers of the group would be able to do. So as you can see here, I've already picked my topics, so it's not giving me the options. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete a couple of them, and I'm just going to make a note which ones I'm deleting so I could add them back in after, just for a moment. Because when you don't reach the 15, it gives you the search option. So just one moment here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of social networking and professional networking. So, and I'm going to submit that and go back to topics. So it should give me the option to search. Oh, did it get rid of it? So you go to add another topic. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. It's at the bottom here. Add another topic. And then you start entering. So if we say look for a professional, it starts giving you options that you can scroll through. Can everyone see that?
I can see it.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so it gives you the opportunity. So I can put back the professional networking, submit it. And if I go back to topics, since I took out two, it should give me the option to add one more. So see, so I could add another topic. So it was social networking I got rid of. So we can put that back in, social networking. And so they're showing here how many groups have a title as well. So when they do the search and they're in your local area, when they search social networking, your group will hopefully show up in that. So if I go back, it has been added back into the list. So when you do utilize all 14 of your options, it does tell you to, you've hit your maximum and you have to remove one to add one. So I hope that's answering the questions that were proposed.
Absolutely. And it looks like that's all the questions we have right now. Is there anyone else who has a question that they'd like to put forward? Here's another. Are there protocols to follow in regards to posting pictures with special guests from Toastmasters events? For example, the District 60 convention. Do we need permission from them? Do you want me to take that?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Maxine. When you're posting a picture with any guest, with any member, with any person, you always want to be sure that you have their permission. Having it in writing is even better. That can certainly include special guests who've attended your event. Just make sure that they're okay with you posting the event. Any
Thank
other
you for taking
questions?
that question.
No problem. I don't see any more questions coming through.
Okay.
All right, if that's everything, Grace, do you have a few final words for us?
Sure. I just want to point out, we do have the Google Doc file. I'm not sure if Chris, if you've put that in the chat yet as
I've
of yet.
posted it once, but I'll post it again to be on the safe side.
Okay, great, great. So you can ask that for, like I mentioned, a detailed rundown of how you can create your own Meetup profile. Also, for Division E members, in that same file, it has how you can be a co-organizer. So it lists all the information and the guidelines that you must follow. And anybody could look at that to see if that's something they might want to set up for their own group. Also, as well, I have a document on how to create events and how to post pictures. And as I mentioned, also examples on the forms that you could submit. I believe I have 3 different ones posted in that as well that you can look at. And I also have the photo release form included with that. And I think it's a great idea once a year, get everybody in your club to fill that out so you never have any question of what's going on. There has been times when people are like, sure, you can take my picture. I didn't give permission. So especially if you have a club, mirror. And if they don't want their picture posted, make sure they write that on the form as well. Because when I was the PR manager for my club, I actually got everybody to fill that out. And some people had different stipulations. They're like, you could take my picture, but I don't want my name shown. Or it's like, you can post my name everywhere, but I don't want a picture. So it's always good to, and they don't want to be posted, let them write that on that form. So you have that written down. And so if ever it does come up, you can always find a way to get out of that. And one thing, well, this probably works more for in-person than virtual. If someone doesn't want to be in the picture, they're the perfect person to take the picture because it guarantees they won't be in it. So yes.
Definitely a good
And
strategy.
I just want to thank, yes. And I just want to thank everybody here for coming out tonight. I am so glad to see so many people interested, and I hope that you guys are able to take this information away and do something well with it. And once again, if you have any questions, contact me. I'm always available and I'm always willing to help.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Grace. Hasn't this been terrific? I trust everybody's learned a lot. I know I certainly have. Thank you all for being here. If you've got more questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the PQD team, and we'd be glad to get questions to Grace. She did share her email in the presentation. And Grace, I think that's in some of the documents on the Google Drive as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
All right. And I did post the Google Drive again, just in case anyone didn't get a chance to grab it. So please do catch that link, or feel free to reach out if you didn't have an opportunity to do so. All right. So glad you could all be here. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like we've got a lot of positive people who got a lot out of tonight's session.
Yes, very exciting.
Always good to know.
Bye, Diane.
Bye, Diane. I said that.
Yeah.
All right.
She's
Good night, Heidi.
evaluating me
Glad you could be here.
for this workshop. So yeah.
You did.
I hope I changed your mind, Heidi.
You're muted, Heidi.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
It was really very interesting, actually, and I had no idea how much there was behind Meetup. No clue.
Yes.
Actually, it's almost like a website.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
Grace is definitely
In
the
some ways
resident
it
expert
is.
on it.
Because
It's amazing.
because when I first found out about Meetup, that's what they were actually using as their main
main
website.
communication.
They weren't using internet website or anything like that. Yeah, that was the main form of education until it was like opened up more.
Yeah. It's simple to use too, really. It's not as complicated as Free Toast. You know, and it's so much more user friendly. And what I liked really in this too, what I took away when you said, well, you may not get anybody, or you even talked to us about maybe they were just trolling. And so in other words, don't get upset when people are not turning up to your particular event or meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, now that we're planning with Naturally Speaking, our special events basically, or special months, we go by months, I think right now. And we have really a lot to show and to say, and we are unique that we are a team club. You know, we're teaming up with another club. So our communication skills have to be really, really good. And we have to be able to be good to each other and, you know, encourage each other. And hopefully we can help Naturally Speaking to gain members. And hopefully,
I think,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think once they get on Meetup too, and you guys are able to advertise in correlation is not the right word, but anyways, with each other since Wednesday, Tuesday, back and forth through the months, it's like I will be able to get a good exchange, because as long as you guys are both posting, people know how active you guys are. So I think once we can actually get them going and show what a team you guys are, both the clubs are, I think it could really end up turning something out for both the clubs.
Well, Chris is now joining our PR meetings.
Oh, Heidi!
Yeah.
You were frozen there. Sorry, I didn't know what you were saying.
That's okay. Anyways, Grace, do you want to go over anything tonight, or are you good?
Pardon?
Do you want